Hey there, this is Sherri. I'm a registered dietitian and I help emotional eaters transform their relationship with food and ultimately lose weight. In today's video, what we're going to discuss is how emotional eating started back in childhood, which I think is crucial to breaking the connection between food and feelings. You've got to look back to childhood and see where this behavior began. If that's something you're interested in, keep watching. Hey guys, Sherri here, and I'm back for another video. If you are one of my subscribers, I want to thank you very much for your support. And if you are not a subscriber, but you watch my videos and you like them, I'm going to ask that you do hit that subscription button and click the bell for notifications. It just helps my channel to grow and shows my content out to more people when the YouTube gods think that people enjoy my content by the number of subscribers and the number of likes and comments that I have. So today what I want to do is talk about the origin of emotional eating. It's, I don't want to say shocking. Well, no, it kind of is shocking how many times I talk to people and we are able to trace back the roots of when the emotional eating started and why it started. And a lot of times these people have been on diets for 25 years. They have been struggling for 25 years. They have never made the connection to childhood emotions, behaviors laid down in childhood, and how they eat now. And if you are going to heal from emotional eating, break these bad habits, start processing emotions in a healthy way, this is where you have to start. So I want you to go with me on a little bit of a journey and think back to your childhood. You know, they say that kids are resilient, and I think that is a load of hogwash. I think that kids don't know how to express their emotions, and they're not skilled at that, so that may come across as being resilient or not affecting them, but that is not the case. I think that kids are like sponges, right? They take it all in. Childhood is a period where we are absorbing things, we're developing, we're testing boundaries, we are experiencing different emotions, and what do those emotions mean? We're like sponges. So it's a really developmental time where a lot of things for our life are laid down during these developmental years, but we're going to talk specifically about emotions and how you dealt with them. So first thing I want you to do is think back to your childhood, and what would you say were the major traumas or trauma in your childhood? Now, these are the things that are going to come to mind real quick. Oh, you know, I know when my father had a heart attack and was in the hospital for a month. That was a traumatic event for me. Something like that. So we call these big T's, big traumas, to get you thinking. It could be things like a one-time event is what I'm thinking, more like a rape, the death of a loved one, maybe your house caught on fire, or you were in a car accident, maybe you had a bad bicycle accident, you had to go to the hospital, maybe you were sick and in the hospital, had to have surgery, or your caregiver, parent was in the hospital and sick. Maybe you learned that you were adopted. You saw your parents go through a divorce and now you had to split time with your parents, or abandonment. So these are some big T's, we call them, big traumas. And those should be things, and maybe you don't have a crystal clear memory of what it was like to live through that event. That's actually pretty common too. It's called dissociation. So you may have blocked out some of those memories, but you know that these things happened in your childhood and greatly affected you. All right. Sometimes facing those can be tough, huh? But next, let's think of the things that you would think were still traumatic, but maybe it wasn't like a single event. Could have been something that was ongoing and persistent in your life. Things like sexual abuse or physical or verbal abuse. How about a parent who was a substance abuser, so you were never sure about their behavior? Feeling like you had to be perfect in order to get your parents to love you. feeling like you're different from everyone in your family. I don't belong here. I don't fit in. These people don't understand me. Maybe you had a sibling that took up all the energy. Maybe they were sick, or they were special needs, or they were high achieving, and so all the time and energy and efforts went to developing their skill or their talent, maybe their sport. Maybe you had parents who fought all the time. Maybe you had too much responsibility at your young age. Maybe you were the oldest sibling and you felt more like a mother to your siblings than you did a real sibling. Being bullied at school, feeling invisible, or having financial struggles where you felt like, you could not spend money or ask for things. These are all what we would call other childhood traumas. Okay, so you've got the big traumas, the one-time event traumas, you've got the ongoing traumas, which could be big or could be small t's. So of course, all of these events, when you think back on them, produce feelings, right? Of course they produce feelings. You need to know that when we're children, our capacity for judgment and self-soothing, it's not really there yet. It is still being developed. The part of our brain that does that is called the prefrontal cortex. You've probably heard about this. And the prefrontal cortex is not fully developed until our 20s. Some studies say as late 20s to 30 years of age. This is why teenagers make such horrible decisions. The judgment part is not there. I just had a client not long ago whose teenager in the middle of the night thought it would be a good idea for him and his friends to go get in the car and drive 2 hours to the beach, and not tell anybody because he didn't want to wake them up. So things like that. Teenagers make very poor judgments. Look at a 2-year-old. 2-year-old becomes angry. How do they express anger? Terrible twos, temper tantrum. They don't know how to express anger properly. So they just let it all fly. They're learning that. Some kids can't even put a name to what they are feeling. They just know it feels uncomfortable. I don't like this. It's definitely not contentment, happiness, and it makes me uncomfortable. We tend to label feelings as good or bad, don't we? There's a few neutral ones, but in general, we think of feelings as good or bad, right? And when we have a good feeling, as kids, we're encouraged. Like, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to be content. It's okay to be excited. These positive feelings, we get the messages that this is good. It's okay. What are the messages we get when we feel sad? We're moping around the house, or when we are really angry, or we're disappointed, we're crushed, or, we are anxious. We're anxious about what's going to happen. We're fearful. What are the messages that we as kids hear then? We hear things like, don't let it get to you. Don't dwell on it. Get over it. Don't cry. Don't be a baby. Don't be so emotional. You're such a drama queen. You're just looking for attention. Suck it up. All of these things tell us that these negative feelings are not to be experienced like the positive feelings. So these negative feelings, we hear messages that this is bad. And that, coupled with the feeling that I feel, which is uncomfortable and not fun, tells me negative feelings, bad. Good feelings, good, okay. I don't need to suppress those. But what am I supposed to do with these negative feelings? And it's making me very uncomfortable. I don't feel good. And people around me are telling me to get over it. So, but they're not telling me how to get over it. So what am I supposed to do? How does a child pushing away an emotion such as sadness? So here is your connection to food. Food can help in one of two ways, okay? It begins with the whole thought of, I don't want to think about this. And that's reinforced by parents saying, get over it. Well, then what do? I need a distraction. I need a distraction. Sometimes parents are there to say, I made you cookies, right? I made your favorite cookies. This is a parent's loving way of saying, I don't want you to be sad, so I made you something I know will make you happy. But what that's doing is teaching the child sad's not okay, and if you eat cookies, you will feel better. So they eat the cookies, and do they feel better? Yes, it works. It totally works. You don't have to do that very many times to lay down that habit. Sad is bad. Eat some kind of food that I really like. Feel better. Repeat, 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 and you have become an adult emotional eater. Now, the other way that food can distract is I'm sad, so I'm going to distract myself. I don't want to think like this. I go into the kitchen, I make myself a bowl of cereal. And as I'm eating the cereal, I'm like, this is good. This tastes good. I'm thinking about that. Now I'm feeling better. But wait a minute, then I'm done with my bowl of cereal. Now I've got some choices, right? I can go get another bowl of cereal or something else to eat. I can go back to being sad. I can now find something else to distract myself. Maybe I'll go start a video game, okay? So I still need to distract, and that's the problem with food, is that it only distracts while you're chewing. So then when you're done chewing, you've got to go find something else to distract, which could be another serving of food. Or I can turn my thoughts to self-loathing, and the self-loathing looks like, I can't believe I did this again. I am so disgusting. Like, what is wrong with me? Here I am saying I want to lose weight, and I'm going in here, back in here for another bowl of ice cream at 9:30 at night. Or the rationalizing, like, oh, this is the last time I'm doing this. I promise I'm not going to do this again. In fact, I'm gonna go online right now tonight. I'll sign up for Weight Watchers. I'll start tomorrow. Okay, that's what that looks like. But when you are a child and you repeat this behavior, you develop a habit, and it also becomes kind of your new normal that you carry into adulthood. You teach yourself, when you have a negative, uncomfortable emotion, if you eat, then that makes you feel better for whatever reasons. One is going to be taste. Oh, let's hope it's taste. Let's hope. But sometimes, you know, sometimes we eat stuff that's not even that good. You ever done that where you're like in the middle of it, you're like, I don't know why I'm even eating this. It's not even that good. And it's just because you've laid down that habit. Here's the uncomfortable, negative emotion. I've got to distract myself, numb it, avoid it. I'm going to eat to do that. I eat what I think is going to be decadent, rewarding, tastes good, something that I'm going to enjoy. And bingo, mission accomplished. So that is what I've taught myself. This behavior as a kid is also reinforced, right, by parents who model this behavior. So oftentimes I work with my clients and I say, let's go back to childhood. Tell me, how did your mom, how did your dad deal with sadness? And a lot of times I see emotional eating. They then recognize the parent was a stuffer. The parent didn't deal with the emotion. The parent distracted, numbed out with food. And then they encourage the child to do this. But it comes across as loving. I made you cookies. But in reality, a much healthier thing would be like, let's talk about it. So you're sad. Let's talk about it. And to validate feelings. It's okay to be sad. And what does sad look like? It's okay to cry. Even if you're a boy, it's okay to cry, right? So this is basically how emotional eaters develop in childhood. And unfortunately, we are not taught in school how to process emotions. We primarily learn that from the people around us when we are kids. So if I have a parent who is volatile when he gets angry and he throws things, he curses, he threatens, then I could easily grow up to be an adult who does the same thing because I have learned this is how you express anger. So as you can see, children are resilient. BS on that one, okay? They are very impressionable. Think back to your childhood and see if you can connect these dots. Now, connecting these dots is exactly what we do in my program called Feelings and fries. It is a 4-week online course that also has group coaching. There are going to be links to Feelings and Fries down in the description below. And if you're not ready to do an online program like that, check out some of my other videos. You can also follow me on Instagram, or I have a closed Facebook group. It's all under Sherri Clarke Nutrition, and the links are all below in the description. I want to thank you for watching this, and comment below and tell me, do you think you learned as a child how to properly express your emotions, or are you still learning that today as an adult? Till next time, take care, and we'll see you soon.